Yeah. My voice is a weapon, I'ma up and let it bang. I ain't taking prisoners and I ain't taking names. In it for the money, I ain't in it for the fame. Ask me where I'm at, baby, I'm up just like a plane.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy, T-Man Stomp 100, aka Lil Rex HD, back with another video today. Different kind of video. This is my first time doing this, so kind of bear with me. But today we're going to be answering the question of, can a 10-year-old PC, well, 10-year-old gaming PC at that, play Call of Duty Black Ops 6? And what we're working with today basically is something that's very near and dear to me. It's my gaming PC, my personal gaming PC that was with me for maybe about 8 years, the past 8 or 9 years. And the specs on it currently is a Xeon 1271 V3, which is, it's the same thing as an i7 4790. Just, it's not able to be overclocked. It's like the non-K, but it's a Xeon. So I think it might have a different amount of cache or something, but it's the same frequency and it's 4 cores, hyper threaded. It's got 16 gigabytes DDR3, and it's got a GTX 980, which is, if you're not familiar with it, it's not like the 980 Ti. It's not 6 gigabyte. It's a 4 gigabyte graphics card. So without further ado, let's jump into these benchmarks. All right, so that's a funny way to start the benchmark, but ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be some 1440p benchmarks with the GTX 980. I am using some image scaling, which I'm going to show that now. I'm going to show the actual settings, but surprisingly, it's very playable in 1440p with NVIDIA image scaling. So this is my settings. I got the normal textures. I think it's also normal shadows, and mostly everything else on low. Which is really just the balance settings, but I changed the shadows and the textures to go up a little bit more because I was thinking, I feel like the 980 can handle a little bit more than the game says, and I think I might have been right. But so far, I mean, despite what the 1% and the 0.1% lows is telling you, it seems pretty playable, pretty stable. Like, it's not stuttering or anything like that. So I would say at these settings, definitely playable. Like, there's no doubt about that. It might honestly even be able to turn the graphics up a little bit more if you want to. Which I'm going to check that out now. Keep in mind, I still got the NVIDIA image scaling is set to performance. So it's really something like 720p upscale to 1440p. But I mean, the fact that this card can handle a 1440p monitor to me is kind of surprising. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now here we go. This is, the settings have been raised a little bit. Let me show you real quick. Oh, I just died in the game. That's okay. But textures are still on normal, but now it's a mix of high and ultra on everything else. Like, it's got high shadows, and it's getting 40 to 50 FPS, but it's still playable. maybe not competitive, but it's still playable at these settings. And keep in mind the I don't know if I said this already, but the NVIDIA image scaling is set to performance. So the internal resolution is probably something like 720p. As a matter of fact, I think that's what performance actually is. But this is honestly like very surprising that this card can still handle a 1440p monitor. Like, the whole time I had it on a 1080p monitor, and I'm gonna test 1080p. Actually, let's do that now. Alright, so this is 1080p with the same setting. And instantly I'm getting like 70, 80 FPS. So if you have like a 1080p 75 hertz monitor and you have this card, you can still get a full 75 hertz. You just have to put it on performance image scaling, and it's not going to keep 75 hertz all the time, but it should be relatively close. And I'm going to run around and I'm going to see how the performance actually is. This is looking like it's dropping down to 60s. Yeah, so it's seeming like it drops down to 60s during action. Which, that's still playable. It's not like it was in 1440p. Like, when I had it in 1440p, it kind of honestly felt a little bit unsmooth in some situations, like mostly when people were shooting at me. But in 1080p, it's like the card is at home. And I just unlocked the camo. But I mean, this is very playable. Honestly, I feel like if I was to drop the settings a little bit, which I'm gonna do that real quick. We'll put it back to what I had it on earlier in 1440p, which was normal shadows but balanced settings. And it seemed like that didn't change a whole lot, honestly. I mean, I'm hitting 90 now. I don't think I was hitting 90 before. It might be a little bit more. Yeah, it seems like it's a little bit more frames, changing the actual settings in the game. But from what it's looking like, if you have a GTX 980, you can still play this game in 1440p normal settings or in 1080p high settings with NVIDIA image scaling on performance. Let's see if you can get away with quality, which in 1080p you probably not gonna have a problem. And now I'm gonna leave it on the normal settings. In 1080p, I really feel like it should be able to do quality. Yup. And it's still getting 75 FPS, which is the crazy thing about it. In some situations. It's looking like it's dropping to 60, but it's still, like I was saying earlier, it's still perfectly playable at 60 FPS, or between 50 and 60. But the game looks definitely a lot sharper than on performance mode. I say in quality mode, this looks almost like regular 1080p looks on my monitor. I mean, keep in mind I'm playing on a 1440p monitor. I just have it set to 1080p, so it's not going to be perfectly sharp like playing on a real 1080p monitor. On a real 1080p monitor, this would look even better than it looks right now, but right now it doesn't look bad. It looks, honestly, it looks like a PS4 game, or actually a little better than a PS4 game. Like, I would say the way that this performs is like, graphically it's a little bit better than PS4, and the performance, depending on what you set it on, it's a little bit better. So all in all, I would say, can a 10-year-old PC play Black Ops 6? Yes. Surprisingly. Very, very surprisingly. And I mean, it's overclocked a little bit, but it's nothing too crazy. And you can see what the frequency is on the screen right there. It's nothing most people can't hit. So I guess that's been all for this video, y'all. I hope you enjoy.